Welcome to the Marriage Game Plan podcast, where we help couples build healthy relationships through faith, love, and strategy. I'm George.
And I'm Tondra, and we are so glad you're here.
For over 15 years, we've been helping coach couples from NFL locker rooms to everyday living rooms on how to win in marriage, not just survive.
Whether you're newlyweds, seasoned teammates, or somewhere in between, this podcast is your bi-monthly huddle for real talk, practical plays, and fresh game plans to help you win your home game.
And if you're single and hoping to be married one day, this is your podcast for practical insights and tools to help you enter into marriage with clarity, confidence, and purpose.
So grab your spouse or just your headphones.
And let's build a championship level marriage together. Hey, welcome back to the Marriage Game Plan podcast. We've got an exciting episode. This today is going to be our first live in-person interview of our friends, Pastor Joe and Doreen Cotinola. And Pastor Joe and Doreen are the pastors, the senior pastors of Victory Outreach in Whittier, California. And if you've not gone to their church, we're going to ask that you would stop by to see and real life community of believers that are doing it the right way. They've been, Pastor Joe is also the regional and multi-regional leader of Victory Outreach churches all throughout Southern California. This is a great couple.
Yes, we are so excited to have them. They are just personal friends of ours. We love them dearly. And then Sister Doreen, she is a global leader. She is the women's leader of Victory Outreach International all over the world. So she's awesome. Let's just say that. They've been married for 22 years. They have seven children and 11 grandchildren. They have definitely put their stake in the ground.
Yeah, and they've also pastored and launched out 8 congregations from their congregation. They're giving. We want to invite our friends, Pastor Joe and Doreen. Welcome.
Yes.
Well, it's so good to be with you.
Yeah, we're super excited to be here with you guys.
Well, we are excited because you guys are the first.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't have it any other way besides, man, our friends would come and to talk to our audience. So to set it up today, we wanted to invite guests on our show. We wrote the book, the USA Today best-selling book called The Marriage Game Plan. So we wanted our listeners to get the feel from some of our friends that are leaders, that are high capacity influencers of influencers, yet take care of their marriage and their family as priority, right? And we thought of no other than you guys to be our first couple.
Yes. So we would kick it off with how did this all begin, and what are the early things that you learned that helped you build such a solid foundation in your relationship?
The challenges of that, you're referring to the challenges of a blended family. But rewind a little bit.
Yes.
Is I was a widower.
Yeah.
And so then my wife was no longer married also, and we were in 2 different churches, same movement, Victory Outreach International.
Yes.
And then what happened was I had seen Doreen at one of our international events. And I thought to myself, wow, what a beautiful woman.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's all I thought. I was a pastor already. And then in the course of events, we were able to talk, and then we did. I helped host an event for one of the pastors.
Okay.
He was celebrating 25 years or something, and then she came with Pastor Sonny and Sister Julie, her mom and dad, and then I was able to see her again, and I talked to her for a little bit, and that's how everything began to unfold. But then I was in a season of prayer and fasting.
Okay.
And we were the whole church was fasting.
So you're saying for all the guys out there that are looking for a wife, fasting and praying will bring her along.
It's always part of God's marriage plan, before and after.
That's it.
Yes.
That's it.
And then what happened was during that Saturday, and we were going to end the whole church on Sunday after service, have a big church fellowship. But that night, God spoke to me. I heard God's voice, and it told me that He had chosen Doreen for me.
Sure.
And that we were going to get married, and together we were going to build a ministry.
Wow.
And that He had, that I was going to be a covering for her children.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
And vice versa. And that He spoke to me about a lot of things. And I knew it was God's voice.
Yes.
I wrote it down, the prophecy, did a bunch of stuff to prove it was like the God had spoke to me. And I never told her nothing. And then when I wrote it down, I said, Lord, how can that be? We don't hardly see each other, just certain events.
Yeah.
But then in the course of events, we began to bump into each other, talk to each other.
Yeah.
We started dating. We got married.
Yes.
Okay.
And then the fun started, the blended family that she was referring to.
Yes.
You know?
And this is awesome because, I mean, I'm sure there are many of our listeners who come from blended families, and we get asked all the time, can you do more content on what would it take for blended families to harmonize quicker or
Yeah.
to gel? And so I'm sure we're going to get into a little bit more of that, but I just want to point out one interesting thing. So Pastor Joe, because he's a pastor, he talks about sort of like they get married and, you know, God told him to, but then Sister Doreen was the first one to say, but it was hard. It was difficult. And I think sometimes in Christian marriages, we feel like because God has called us together or put us together that it's going to be easy.
Right.
But yet it can be very difficult. We like to say that marriage is a team sport.
Right.
And sometimes it can get what? It could get messy, right?
It can get messy. But what I'm hearing from your story is that it takes both, right? It takes faith and it takes putting God at the center and then also putting in that hard work. And that's faith in action right there, because it's like, I'm believing this is what God has called us to. So even in the messy times and the hard times, I'm going to stick in here because God brought us together and he's going to help us get through this.
That's awesome. So what would you say are some of the guiding principles or what we call plays that have become like non-negotiables in your marriage union?
I would say, and then, you know, she could chime in.
Yeah.
I think being quick to forgive,
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
quick to forgive, and for me to learn how to communicate,
Yeah.
because I was the type of person that held everything in, sweep it under the rug,
Yes.
and then once I blow up,
Okay.
I open up the rug and bring everything out. And
Tandra's grandmother used to say, I'm going to get you.
When I get you, I'm going to get you for the old and the new.
Old and the new.
So I'm pulling everything out of that rug.
that's exactly how I function.
Yes.
And so I think quick to forgive, learning how to communicate. I held on to God's word that I knew she was God's gift to me.
Yes.
And I remember one specific time, not to make it all spiritual,
Yeah.
but I was a little bit cruel, and you know, in the harshness of my tone. And I'll never forget. I felt like I heard the voice of the Lord. The Holy Spirit spoke to me, and said, "Don't ever speak to my daughter that way again."
Wow. Ooh, that's strong.
And then I could feel in my spirit he was saying, if you heard a man treat your daughter like that,
Right.
how would you respond, son?
So good. So good.
And I knew instantly how I am and how I would respond. And I remember I repented that day and said, Lord, help me. Another founding principle was compassion.
Sure.
Yeah.
My tone of voice, not being harsh.
Yes.
And my prayer constantly was, Lord, help me. And I'm still learning this. Help me be more loving and more compassionate.
Sure.
I didn't come from that kind of background.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even though I am a pastor now,
Sure.
I came from before in the world, the streets,
Sure.
Yeah.
broken home, and seen a lot of damage and abuse with my parents, my dad, and drugs and alcohol, and
Yeah.
the way he treated my mom and his
Yeah.
unfaithfulness. And
No.
so I that was my prayer.
Now, Pastor Joe, we're going to let Doreen speak to that, but I just want to tell you how refreshing it is, because sometimes I think people think pastors are perfect or they put us up on this pedestal, and yet it's refreshing to hear a man of stature, a man of leadership, international leadership like yourself, to say, yeah, we're human. And sometimes in our humanity, we might say or have the wrong tone, but yet we can come back in a godly way and say, I messed up and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
High five for that, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think when you're saying non-negotiables, I think we decided early on that we weren't going to use the word divorce.
Oh, I love
I
it.
think that was something that we both agreed on from day one. Like, we're in this for life. We are committed,
Yeah.
and we both felt strong about that. That's one of the ones I remember in the beginning.
Yeah.
We both talked about.
Yeah.
And we talked about different things too, like what his values, my values.
Yes.
And how we were going to respect each other in that. There was a lot of things I had to change.
Yeah.
I felt like I came in to the marriage having to change a lot of things because I had to learn what was important to him.
Yes.
And one of the things that was really difficult for me was he had this respect thing.
Okay.
And Latin men, I don't know if you know, they're
It's the black
big.
brothers too, trust me.
They're was so big on respect and a lot of things that I had to learn what that meant to him. Like there was things that I didn't know off of the in the beginning of the marriage, like just the simple things like serving his plate first instead of serving the kids first. Things that I was just not aware when I go to the grocery store. Making sure that I get his list.
Yes.
Those are things to him that were really like a non-negotiable almost because it mattered to him. So it was very high on his list of feeling respected.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like he sounds like he just wanted to feel prioritized, right? Or
I
like
guess,
I was included, right? Especially because you had your kids before the marriage, and then now there's a blended family.
Yeah, I had to make a lot of changes there
right.
and learn how to be the wife that he wanted certain things in a certain way. And then I'm sure he had to make a lot of changes also.
Yeah. I really like that because I feel like a lot of couples, I know myself, I came in thinking that you don't change when you get married, that person has to accept you for who you are. And so whenever George would talk about the things that he needed me to do and would like that would make him feel love, I was like, no, don't try to change me. You knew who I was when you married me.
Right.
But what I'm hearing you say is, no, change is a part of it. You have to come in and you have to learn how to love your spouse the way they need to be loved. And to do that, you have to sacrifice and you have to make changes. So I love that principle because a lot of young couples need to hear that.
Because I just didn't see it. I didn't know. And I felt like I just had a lot of changing to do because I was learning. Learning.
Yes. Awesome. Okay. So let's jump into our next question, which is, what challenges have tested your marriage and how did you face them together?
I think what challenges? Blended family is a big challenge.
That's
Two becoming one.
Yes.
Sure. Different ways we were raised.
Yes.
I think Doreen being a single mom for those 7 years,
Oh, wow.
her priority was her children.
Yes.
And so when I came into the marriage, I felt unappreciated, not valued. After a period of time, I wasn't like her priority. Everything and everyone else was, and I was off to. So that caused a little friction, and then I had to grow and learn and be sensitive. Those are some things we overcame. We talked about. The good thing about it, we talked about everything, and I realized areas that I wrote down. The way I function is I privately wrote things down that I needed to change in.
Okay.
That way I could take it before the Lord and look at it and remind myself. The way she would deal with stuff is maybe different than me, but maybe I would write stuff down
He would.
and I'd say, man, these are the areas I got to change it. And before, and another big challenge was that she would bring things to my attention, and I did not know how really to handle constructive criticism.
Okay.
I took everything as an attack on me. Wow. And that was a big one for our marriage. And I had to grow and mature emotionally and learn, and I didn't have the tools. That's what I love about your book. You have a lot of stuff. Also, all the times that you've come and you guys have ministered on marriage, you bring out a lot of this stuff. And we went through that. And where I had to be open to that and change, and then we would learn to talk about it, and I would tell her why I feel disrespected, or and even marriage is like this, just two different opposites attract, right?
Yes.
And if you're not careful, don't keep Christ in the center, or you're not sensitive, opposites will attack.
That's right.
That's
And
right.
it's just a natural occurrence. So I think those are a few things. I don't know what was big for her, but respect was the main one. Me feeling accepted and loved, in many ways, in verbal, in touch. I'm more of a touchy person.
Sure.
And I don't think, and Doreen isn't as much as me. And so that was big for me.
Wow, our marriages started off the same. Same mirror.
Like I want, hey, show, you know.
That's right. Rub my scalps, massage my shoulders.
And then a lot of challenges, But we
Hey,
grew
Pastor
together.
Joe, I often joke around, and of course we have this podcast, but I'm going to start another podcast called helpabrother.com where the guys, we can sit around and chew up.
Yeah.
What are the details? Because I really want to unpack a lot that you're saying. So maybe we have to do something different. But Doreen?
Yeah, I feel like in the beginning, when I look back, there's just so many things. One of the things for me was I like to talk about things. I don't like things to linger, and I don't like things to go like, I didn't even want to go to sleep with problems, and I wanted to deal with it.
Yes.
And he was the opposite. He could let days go by, even weeks go by.
Yes.
And it's over and done, and I'm still festering inside of me like,
Right.
wait, we never talked about this, and
Wow.
we never really worked it out, and so I would just build it up. It would build up inside of me. So I feel like in the beginning, for me, that was a big thing. I had to learn how to understand he processes different, and I have to give him time to process.
Sure.
But I didn't want to. I would wake him up. How could you sleep?
Yeah.
How could you sleep?
Right.
We just had an argument, and we're still,
She would actually say, "How can you sleep?" I go, "Perfectly well."
Yes, I was gonna say that is so key. Is how do we figure out? Like we know the things we are aligned on just because we have that in common, but the challenge comes in when with the areas that we aren't aligned, we have to figure out how to become a team in those areas. So that's a important part of the game plan that I'm hearing made you both successful to overcome those challenges.
Yeah, and I'm also hearing a part of the game plan is the curiosity of I need to know what makes you tick. I need to know why do you respond that way, right? And sometimes when we don't know, we feel rejected, but if we can lean in and ask the questions, right? And I think that's important. And so here's another question for you. What, as life is fast paced, is busy, I'm sure you guys are on the road all the time, got an international trip that's planned. When it gets overwhelming, what do you do to pause or regroup or to just say, let's win in our home game?
That's us right now. Like I have a lot of responsibility. He has a lot of responsibility. And he's learned to let me do what I have to do. And I've learned to give him space what he has to do. But then together we have to talk about our calendars. I think that's something even now we're getting better at. We've learned to get better at it. Is looking at the month, looking at the week, and talking about it and communicating, and also taking time for each other. Like I think that's something that he was really good at, and he still is, but he was really intentional in the beginning of every 6 weeks, we have to get away.
Okay.
Every 6 weeks, we have to go somewhere. If it's 2 days, 3 days, a week. And I think that helped a lot with keeping us together and having that time for each other and communicating, right? You did a lot of that in the beginning.
I was real intentional, and I realized that because I was able to realize the danger, and I had seen relationships and marriages that drifted apart.
Sure.
They grew apart.
Yeah.
Actually, you can grow together, or you can grow apart.
That's right.
And our game plan was, what I set in motion was every 6 weeks to every 7 weeks, sometimes depending on our schedule, I would take her away. I would go, we would go to Vegas, and I'd rent a nice room.
Yeah.
And then it's great because I don't waste no money on gambling. So we'd eat, go out for shows.
Yeah.
We've seen so many different shows. We would order one night, we would watch TV, and we'd get room service.
Okay.
And it was our private time. Just me and her. No kids, no knocking on the door. Because remember, we had a blended family of 7, and 6 at one point because my oldest had left. But and we did that, and we did that for probably 15 years straight.
Sure.
I would just take her away and plan our getaway, and we would go and we'd drive. Sometimes we'd fly. We'd go to different places, and there's just something about checking into a beautiful hotel, and try to be romantic and go to dinner and try to hold her hand, look in her eyes, say things, and make deposits.
Yes.
So that I could enjoy the withdrawals
I
of
love
marriage and life.
Amen.
Yeah.
I love that so much because what I'm hearing is that a part of even though you are busy, I mean, that's a whole busy life that you all live. Like, I don't even know how you do all that.
Right.
7 kids, 11 grade, you're pastoring all these churches, but you are intentional about prioritizing, and you are carving out time to make sure that your relationship doesn't get lost in everything that you have going on. So that is a great strategy for a marriage game plan.
Hey, we're hoping you're enjoying today's episode. Listen, Paradise Awaits, the Dream Marriage Retreat 2026. It's happening soon. So please join us at our next marriage retreat happening at an all-inclusive luxury resort.
Yes, registration is now open. Space is limited. For more information or to reserve your spot, please visit dreammarriageretreat.com. Now, let's jump back into this episode.
I'm sure our listeners out there, man, you are taking a lot of notes. There's a lot of plays that we're giving you. I mean, the OGs are speaking about how to be intentional. It's really practical, right?
Yeah.
Like if you have a car, it normally drifts to the right or the left, and we have to take it in maybe to some professionals and get it realigned. Taking breaks, taking time to spend with your spouse gets you realigned, right?
So important. If I can say one more thing,
Yes, go ahead.
I realized something about me as a man, and most men, this is the way God wired us, that intimacy is a real important part. But intimacy is not just physical, it's the emotional,
Okay.
the verbal, the touch.
Right.
And just like women, men, we also need that.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I realized that when I would get away with her, it helped me feel connected to her and loved. Because when that wasn't there, then I noticed that I began to feel, it's real easy to feel disconnect.
Sure.
Yes.
Or not to feel appreciated, valued,
Sure.
wanted, and loved.
That's
Those are important factors in a marriage.
Right.
And then I noticed that it would cause me to become a little bit more critical and harsh when I'm feeling rejection.
Right.
And I had to grow through this. And even now, and that is, how do I process? Because really it ain't rejection, but I took it as rejection.
Sure.
And because of my upbringing and my childhood, that triggered a lot of things inside of my life. And then I noticed I start to withdraw from her.
Okay.
And I start to create distance, and then that creates a frustration within me, and I start to lash out. And so that us getting away really helped. Even now with our busyness, we travel to different countries, and we were just in Europe and Spain and Germany and Amsterdam, and now we're going to be going to
But
Sweden.
the good thing is we do a lot of ministry together. Even though we have a lot of responsibility aside, he's an elder, he has a lot of responsibility, so do I, but we do a lot of ministry together.
Right.
So we dream together, we pray together, we vision cast, and we look at the future, and we set strategies and goals together. So I think a lot of things we do is together too. And my role, I've always known, is to help him. And I really work hard trying to help him build the ministry. Anything he doesn't like to do, I do. And a lot of it too is even asking him those tough questions, like, how do I help you?
Yes.
How can I help you better?
Yeah.
Sure.
What are some things that I do that you feel add value?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard to ask those questions, but when you do with the open heart, then you're able to even be a better helpmate. And I think that's healthy too as a wife.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome.
That's teamwork all the way around, right? Filling each other's gaps and being that helpmate to each other and supporting each other. That's a great segue into our next question. How have you learned to honor and support each other's strengths and differences?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah. I feel like I've really worked hard at that, because I see his strengths, and I always bring them out to him. Like, I'll tell him, man, you are such a visionary. You're a man of faith. I admire that about you. And I love that he's sincere and he's genuine. And, and what he says he's going to do, he does. And so I do let him know these things. I tell him, I love this about you. I love that about you. And I think that's a good way. He needs to hear it.
Yeah.
He needs to hear it. And when he speaks well, I tell him, man, you spoke such a powerful word. And I and I'm honest too, but I'm honest, but I do love to build him up.
Oh man.
And I feel like that helps him a lot with his strengths.
Yeah.
Sure.
And right? I would
Yeah,
say that's
definitely.
something that really helps you.
That's the wind beneath my wings.
Yeah.
Real
Makes
seriously.
you stick that chest out
Yeah.
more, right?
Makes me feel, like I could do anything. It's just the encouragement
Yeah.
that you need. Every marriage needs that.
Sure.
We need to celebrate each other. We need to encourage each other. Not only have kindness and compassion, understanding, but also the celebrating each other, encouraging each other.
Yeah.
She does that for me, and I hopefully I try to do that too. And then for me was allowing her to operate in her gifts. And once I caught on to that God had given her strengths and abilities and gifts and talents that were completely opposite of mine.
Sure.
And I celebrated it and we came together. Our church exploded. Our ministry exploded. God has opened doors and we've traveled all over the world ministering and helping other churches and doing all that we do. And then even within our own ministry. And I let her fly in the earth she's gifted in.
Right.
He
Yeah.
does.
Yeah. I've had to learn that. And I watched that from Pastor Sonny, her father.
Sure.
And how he allowed Sister Julie to do certain things. And that was a shock to me because I thought it was the man that does everything.
Right.
Oh my
And so that was a process for me.
Sure.
It was tough in the beginning. I'm telling you, you had a lot of challenges in the beginning.
Yeah, but what you're sharing is so beautiful because I guess I remember, what you're sharing is so real because the average listener that are listening today, they struggle with the same things, right? Or you're giving them a tip to do. Like I love it that you're saying that you are really affirming him, you're appreciating him. And so many times we become pros at pointing out what's wrong that we never point out what's going right, right? And we call it in our book, we call it Victory Mondays. And every couple should have a part of their week where they're high-fiving each other and celebrating each other and not pointing out the wrong thing. So that's awesome. Hey, real quick here, what are some adjustments or changes that you've had to do along the way that made a big impact in your marriage?
I think one of the messages I heard you both speak when I first reached out to meet you was you talked about differences. And I heard you speak that teaching and I was like, wow, that really ministered to me. I think I had a real changing at that point where, he would see things, we would see things so differently, and I think that adjustment that I made was, okay, let me try to see from his perspective. Let me be open to listen to what he's telling me. And I would really start to make a lot of, at that point, I think our marriage really started to come together in a stronger, we got stronger in that season. Because I was willing to make those adjustments. And the adjustments was making him a priority. I think that was a big deal because I'm a mom and I'm a grandma and I love my kids. I love my grandkids. And they're a priority of my life still. Like on my calendar, I have Grandma Day.
Okay.
I love that. And the ministry, I love ministry. I enjoy helping people. I enjoy meeting with women. It's something I really thoroughly enjoy. And so I had to learn how to make him feel like he was my priority. I think that was a real season for me adjusting, because I'm thinking he's okay. He's fine.
Right. He's a big boy, right?
He take care of himself.
And I think some adjustments I made was I had this mentality that maybe from my upbringing that I used to joke around and say, well, we're going to have a great marriage is once you realize that I'm never wrong.
Oh my.
Wow.
And so
Where did that get you?
that it got me nowhere. It got me into some dead ends. But seriously, even though I joked around, there was some truth to that in my thinking because of upbringing and the marriage that I see. Anyway, so the adjustments I had to make, I think, was in letting her fly in her gifts, what she was doing for ministry, being able to share her with ministry and the women's ministry and everything. And now I celebrate all that. And I've had to make adjustments too.
He has changed. In the beginning, when we first got married, I had people coming over whenever they wanted. Like my door was open. Like you come, it was, I even literally left my front door open.
Oh, wow.
People would walk in and, oh, hey, and they'd come. And, I had a lot of friends, but then I had a lot of disciples and they would just feel free to spend the night, come in. I was, that's the way I was. When he came, they said that he changed he just locked the door.
Yeah.
He made so many changes.
Yeah.
That's the protector in him, right?
It was just a complete change.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he's saying too, is like, it was from like, I had to really just, okay, make some real life changes.
Because she wasn't used to being married, and so my idea of marriage was a little bit different.
Sure.
And then she was, single, so she had friends, and she had her the sisters that she was discipling. Friends would come and they'd have sleepovers, and they'd be all over the house, and I go, okay, this is not happening.
Yeah.
I mean,
We read the Bible, get into prayer, and then, just a lot of that. And that's ministry was like that, and very, very
Sure.
close. But then I think now, I mean, full circle,
Yeah.
where I feel like I have so much freedom again.
Yeah.
But I think it's just adjusting and just finding our way through things.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah. I
yep.
love that. That's a part of that game plan as well, is you have to move over. You can't have it your way, and and George and I always say the only place you can have it your way is at Burger King.
Got to go to Burger
You
King.
go and order your Whopper any way you want, but in a marriage, we're both making sacrifice for unity to take place, meaning,
Yeah.
yes, you can't pull each other to the opposite.
And there might be some people out there that are listening who you're hunkering down and this is who I am.
Yeah.
But yet your example is showing that when we get married, that we have to be open to someone else's culture, experiences, and even the differences. Don't allow your differences to pull you apart. Allow your differences to bring you together, to celebrate your strengths, and also to work on your weaknesses.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm going to transition really quick here. I was having a conversation with Pastor Joe after church one Sunday, and he was sharing the most amazing thing that he did for you, Doreen. And I feel like our listeners need to hear this, because I think it's the sweetest thing of how we can celebrate each other and high five each other. And so I'm going to let him share what he did for you so that he can encourage other men out there to make time to do things special for your wife, to celebrate when she's out here trying to make you be the best that you can be, right? So why don't you share what you did to celebrate Doreen one time?
I think it was a pattern that I had developed when I would take her away, first of all.
Yeah.
And I would do certain things, buy her certain gifts, make sure when we got her hotel room. There's been times when I've gotten roses and put the petals in a heart shape and put them on the floor leading to the bed, or different things over the years we've done, and I get her gifts. That time away, we began to, and then sometimes I would get her special gift. She would come home, and I would have something on the bed,
Yeah.
on the pillow there, like a card or a gift or rose petals or flowers. I would leave notes on her mirror.
Joe, you making the rest of us look pretty bad.
That's what my dad would say.
Yeah. I would leave love notes on her mirror, on the bed.
Wait, you wrote love notes?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
And I would
another
tape
game
it to
plan.
the mirror.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where I knew she goes and puts her makeup and all that, so she would see it.
Yeah.
And I would draw a heart and a little love note inside there.
Yeah.
And I've done that in I've been doing it for years. And then taking her away to hotel, just special time. Recently we got away to a hotel right there up the hill.
Yeah.
Very special time of connection,
Sure.
romance,
Yeah.
just loving each other. The time that we still need, even though back then we had all the kids, we had everything, but we still have what we have now is the busyness of life and ministry.
Sure.
Grandchildren, but also ministry,
Right.
just like overseeing a large church and all the other churches, and the international responsibilities you have as her role and my role, and so that was just refreshing. We went and we got a room at a hotel, with a nice view.
Right. Okay.
Opened up the curtain.
That's important.
Yeah, you just right there and celebrated everything. And
But Joe, Pastor Joe, I think the one thing that I recall from this conversation was she didn't know that you were whisking her away.
Yes.
yeah,
You
had
pat the
planned it
bag.
all.
okay, yeah,
Yes. You had packed
so
that
that we
bag.
could get away and have that time.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
So
and then
it was a non-negotiable. She wasn't gonna say no, I can't. You was like, I'm gonna make everything happen. All the details you
Take
took
away
care
all
of.
the excuses and whisk her away.
and there was times too when we would do that when we had to get away, where I first started doing it, and it's, what's just, it was interesting because recently I realized I did that real intentionally, and then we went through a season recently where we're so busy
Sure.
that kind of faded away, and I thought we're okay, and now I've come full circle where we needed to do that
Sure.
again and keep that fresh. Because now it's not so much raising kids, but it's ministry and the busyness of life, right? Building. And
It's gonna always be something. That's what I'm saying. It's never, you have to carve out the time. That's what I'm hearing you say.
Yeah.
Is marriages don't fail overnight. It's a slow fade, a slow drift away from each other, a slow decline. And that's why intentionality and effort like that is so key to keeping your marriage at the forefront and keeping it healthy and thriving.
Yeah.
I love that because you're a busy pastor. Like, you're just as busy as any other person in this whole world. But you made effort and you made time because it's important to you. And you created a habit, a good habit that is helping your marriage thrive. And so I just wanted you to share so that other husbands can get some tools in their tool bag. Not you, babe.
Hey, I'm taking notes. Trust me, I'm taking notes. Listen, as we wrap up here, I want to ask you a very important question, because you guys see a larger picture in life. You're not just here sucking up air or just working regular jobs. You're trying to lead at a high level. What type of legacy, when you're gone off this earth, what type of legacy do you want to leave for your kids and grandkids, or your spiritual kids and grandkids that see you up on stage, but you want to tell them, what's the legacy that you want to leave?
For me, it's three things I will say, and I always tell pastors that I mentor and work with, and I try to keep this in my own life, is number one, love God. My legacy is that even though we have this treasure in an earthen vessel, and we may have inner struggles and things in our lives, we're human, but I want to be known as a man who walked with God, who really deeply loved God.
Sure.
And the Bible says that scripture, when one's been forgiven much, one loves much.
Sure.
And I think the depth of God's grace and mercy and forgiveness in my personal life has created such a gratitude and love. Number two is, I always tell them, love God, but then love your wife. Love your wife. It's a picture of how Christ loves the church.
Sure.
And how can you say that you love Christ, you love the church, you love God, but you don't love your spouse? And that's where I think we fail sometimes. We can allow circumstances to affect us, or marriages that are. That's why I love your book, The Game Plan. There's got to be a game plan. I love that. I mean, there has to be. I always tell, the most effective leaders are intentional leaders. The most effective marriages, they're intentional in their marriage. Keeping the fire, keeping the love, fighting through emotions that you may feel, or whatever it is. And so it's love God, love my wife, which includes my family, but my wife. I want to be remembered that I cherished and honored God's gift to me, because that's what every man's wife is to them, and every husband is to the wife. They should see it as that. It's a picture of the love affair between Christ and his people.
I love
church.
I love that imagery.
And the third thing is loving people.
Okay.
My legacy I want to do is that I loved God. I loved this woman that God gave me, and I love people. That's my motive for ministry: loving people, genuine, sincere love for people.
Sure.
No ulterior motive, nothing that I want to gain from it, but I just want to see them be the best that they can be, and to fulfill everything God has called them to do and be. And that, for me, that's what it is.
Yeah, and I agree with everything he said. We've talked about these things. My dad left a tremendous imprint on all of us, and legacy. I want to leave a kind of legacy like the way he's modeled for us. Is that he lived all those things and so much more. But just my kids and my grandchildren to know that I was a woman of God.
Sure.
And that I serve God faithfully. And I want them to see character in my life, and I want them to to model after me. I hope I pray that I can be that example to them.
Sure.
That follow me as I follow Christ.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
And I want them to see that behind closed doors in everything about me. Right? I'm a wife, the way I lead, the way I'm a mother and a friend and a daughter. And I really do believe my kids look at me and they say, I've asked them too, I've asked them questions, and they've said what they like about me is they think I'm so strong in the Lord. And I'm like, I am not, and I'm real with them. I am not strong. It's God. Without God, I'm a mess.
Yes.
But I love hearing what they have to say about us, about our marriage, about our life, about ministry. My daughter recently said that she's a hairstylist, and she had a client, and the client was asking, gosh, I don't know how people do it. My husband's a business owner. I'm a business owner. How do they make time for their kids? And we're both have high demands on our life. And so, I think hairdressers are counselors too.
Yes,
Sure. Because she was telling her, my mom and my dad, they're pastors and they're leaders and they're busy. I don't know anybody busier than them. But they always made us feel a priority.
Right.
Yes.
And I felt so good when I heard that, because she says she says they're busy, but they've always made us feel like they would stop the world for us.
Yes.
Sure.
That's
And so just hearing that and hearing that they're healthy in their mindset and their perspective.
Sure.
Amen.
It really made me feel like, okay, we're on the right track.
Yes.
Leaving that lasting legacy
Yeah.
Yeah.
of how they love God and they look at God and they look at our lives and they don't feel like they lack.
Yes. Amen.
Hey, Pastor Joe, Doreen, thank you so much. This has been a very rich, a very fruitful conversation. I'm sure that if they weren't taking notes, the listeners, they should go back and re-listen to it, because there were some really good golden nuggets, some gems about how to prioritize your marriage, how to win in your home game, and how to make marriage last a lifetime. So thank you for being here.
So much.
It was so good being with you guys.
It was so good to be here with you guys.
Yeah.
And if you haven't got the book, you need to get the book.
Thank you for that plug.
There it is.
Yes.
Hey, guys, we'll see you on the next episode. God bless you, and go out today. Make it a great day.
Yes.
Hey, thank you for tuning in to the Marriage Game Plan podcast, where we believe every couple can win with the right strategy.
If today's episode encouraged you, please follow or subscribe and share it with a friend, as it helps more couples find our podcast.
And if you haven't grabbed a copy of our brand new book called The Marriage Game Plan, it's about developing a winning strategy for marital success. Hey, go out and grab a copy at your online favorite bookstore today.
It is full of real talk, practical plays, and powerful tools to strengthen your marriage, which will help you win your home game.
As you go, stay tuned for our new coaching groups starting this fall.
And if this podcast is blessing your life, consider supporting the mission at journeyforlifenow.org.
Remember, we're building championship marriages.
One play at a time.
See you in the next episode.
See ya.